Well, guys, hard to believe the season's getting closer and closer to the end, as we're now ready for my Week 16 picks of the 2025 NFL season, as last week, I went 9-7. I hate this so much. Terrible weeks the last few weeks of my picks. It's been nothing but horribleness. As of course, here's the regular season and playoff seasons stands at the season end of the day. In the AFC, it's the Broncos with the bye, with Texans at Patriots, Bills at Jaguars, and Chargers at Steelers. And the NFC, it's the Rams with the bye, with Packers at Bears, 49ers at Eagles, and Seahawks at Buccaneers. And my Super Bowl prediction is the Rams over the Broncos. Alright, so now it's time for my Week 16 picks. Start off with Thursday night tonight, and a huge game with huge implications on the line for everything, as it's the Rams at the Seahawks. As the Rams won the last one, the Seahawks haven't beaten them since 2024, and they haven't went home against them since 2022. So, of course, the Rams, whoever wins this game, not only will have the division lead, but also have the number one seed for the entire week, too, I may add. So this is a very huge game for both teams. And the Seahawks, if they win or the Lions lose, they will be in the playoffs for the first time since 2022. So the Rams, of course, they beat the Lions last week in a high-scoring game as they became the first team in the playoffs and improved the record from last year. Seahawks, meanwhile, also improved their record from last year when they barely beat the Colts in a defensive struggle. Oh boy, that was a close one. And this game is going to be intense. One of the league's overall best teams. Seahawks are up there too with the Rams, and just don't trust their offense as much. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Very, very tough. But, see, I remember how they played a few weeks ago. The Seahawks almost beat the Rams on the road if Darnold didn't throw all those interceptions. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams got it. And then we get to our games on Saturday, which I'm not looking forward to since I have to work. Anyways, first up, it's the Eagles at the Commanders. The Commanders won the last one. The Eagles haven't beaten them since 2024, and they haven't won in Landover since 2023. The Eagles, if they win or the Cowboys lose the next day, they will make the playoffs for the 5th year in a row, and they'll clinch the NFC East for the 2nd year in a row. So, a lot on the line for this one to win this game. The Eagles, of course, got a much-needed right game to beat the Raiders, as they shut them out, no surprise, and finally ended their 3-game losing streak. The Commanders, meanwhile, finally ended their, 8-game losing streak, as they beat the Giants, as they need to get that done now. And, of course, tough schedule coming up. Not that it matters since they're eliminated from the playoffs. And, yeah, I'm going to pick the Eagles for this one in their conference championship rematch. Then we get to the huge game after that, as it's the Packers at the Bears. As the Packers won the last one. The Bears haven't beaten them since 2024, and they haven't won at home against them since 2018. And the Bears, if they win and the Lions lose, they will be in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. The Packers, if they win and the Lions lose, they'll be in the playoffs for the 3rd year in a row. So a lot on the line for this game is whoever wins this game will take the division lead. So a lot on the line. We saw these two play each other 2 weeks ago, and the Packers won in a close one. The Packers, oh boy, they lost to the Broncos in a high-scoring game, and even worse, Micah Parsons suffered a season-ending injury, so that's going to really probably hurt their defense. Oh man, that's going to suck. Big time that he got injured. Meanwhile, the Bears, of course, destroyed the Browns to get to 10 wins for the first time since 2018. Yep, this is going to be a very important game. And what? And I'm going to pick the Bears for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers get it. And then we get to the Sunday games. Start off with the Chargers at the Cowboys for the first time since 2017. As the Cowboys won the last two, the Chargers haven't beaten them since that 2017 Thanksgiving game. And the Cowboys haven't won home against the Chargers since 1990. The Chargers, if they win and the Colts lose, they will make the playoffs for the 2nd year in a row. So a lot in line for this one. A whole bunch of teams almost all the seats could be secured this coming week. So the Chargers, of course, the Cowboys, like I said earlier, if they lose or the Eagles win, they wouldn't be eliminated from the division race. And yeah, if they can't win the division, they will be eliminated from the playoffs. So if the Eagles win on Saturday, the Cowboys will be eliminated no matter what they do. So yeah, a lot in line for this if the Eagles lose. So the Chargers, of course, and of course, it won't. Oh, that's right. They beat the Chiefs in a defensive struggle as Sherbert did not play very good whatsoever. Their defense did the work to knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Cowboys played like shit against the Vikings. They let them run over their crappy defense, and they give them another losing record at the moment. Yeah, not on the line for this one, but I'm probably against my better judgment because I don't trust Herbert, I'm going to pick the Chargers still for this one because I trust their defense to do the work. All right, then it's the Vikings at the Giants for the second year in a row. As the Vikings won the last 5, the Giants haven't beaten them since 2013. So both teams are eliminated already. The Vikings got eliminated last week, even though they won against the Cowboys. They won 2 in a row, but not enough to save their season other than to try and avoid a losing season for the first time since 2023. Meanwhile, the Giants, of course, continue to slide as have the longest losing streak in the league, I think, after they just lost to the Commanders in a tough game and all that. Very unfortunate. Of course, a rematch, remember, from Week 1 last year when the Vikings destroyed them. And yeah, I'm going to pick the Vikings for this one. And then we get to the game that was originally the Sunday night game, as it's the Bengals at the Dolphins for the first time since 2020. As the Bengals won the last one, the Dolphins haven't beaten them since 2020. And the Bengals haven't won in Miami since 2007. So, the Bengals, of course, got shut out by the Ravens last week. Oh, man. After they destroyed the Ravens on Thanksgiving, it looked like maybe the Bengals had a chance, especially when they were beating the Bills at first until those 2 picks happened. They thought maybe they could make a run for the division, but nope. That was shut down right afterwards, so they got shut out by the Ravens. Burrow played like crap and all that. Yikes. Just terrible all around. Meanwhile, the Dolphins lost to the Steelers. No surprises. They were also eliminated from the playoffs with that loss, and nothing's going their way. And now Tua's got benched for the rest of the season. So yeah, neither team's in any position to really want to try and win this game. But I trust Burrow more than I trust the 7th round rookie for the Dolphins have, so I'm going to pick the Bengals for this one. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins win because, hey, one of the worst defense in the league. And then we get to a huge NFC South matchup, as it's the Buccaneers at the Panthers. The Buccaneers won the last 5. The Panthers haven't beaten them since 2022. Whoever wins this game will take the division lead, as the Buccaneers are trying to avoid a worse season last year. So the Buccaneers, of course, they had the Falcons' number, and then they blew it at the end, losing on Thursday night when they shouldn't have. That was embarrassing. As remember, they were 6-2 earlier in the year. Now they've gone 1-5 since. Yeah, Todd Bowles, you need to be gone after this year. Meanwhile, the Panthers, of course, they also shouldn't have lost to the Saints. They really needed that win, especially with the Buccaneers taking the L against the Falcons. It was a perfect opportunity for them to potentially get close to clinching the division, but nope. They blew it against the Saints, of course, as well, because Bryce Young cannot play, is always inconsistent. So yeah, very important game for both teams. But who would I pick? I might be going against my better judgment, and I'm going to actually pick the Panthers for this one, but the Buccaneers win, I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, then it's the Tank Bowl again, as it's the Jets at the Saints for the first time since 2017. As the Saints won the last 2, the Jets haven't beaten them since 2013. They haven't won in New Orleans since 2001. So both teams have nothing to play for, of course. The Jets lost to... It won't come to my head, though, for some... Oh, yeah. They got spanked and destroyed by the Jaguars. Imagine letting Trevor Lawrence do that to you. Oh, my God. Meanwhile, the Saints have now won 2 in a row, ruining their number 1 pick chances pretty much, as they keep the winning streak going after they beat the Panthers. And, yeah, I'm going to pick the Saints for this one. Then it's the Bills at the Browns for the first time since 2019, as the Bills won the last one. The Browns haven't beaten them since 2019, and the Bills haven't won in Cleveland since 2012. So the Bills, if they win this, and the Colts or Texans lose, they will be in the playoffs for like the 7th year in a row or so. So yeah, a lot on the line for this game. The Bills had a huge victory against the Patriots last week to stay alive and still keep alive in the division race, trying to pull a 2021. Meanwhile, the Browns, of course, got destroyed by the Bears, as nothing's going right for them, and the Bills have to watch out for Myles Garrett, who's trying to break the sack record. That defense I still think is legit. It's just their offense is terrible. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Bills for this one. Alright, then it's the Chiefs at the Titans for the first time since 2021, as the Chiefs won the last one. The Titans haven't beaten them since 2021, and the Chiefs haven't beaten the Titans on the road since 2013. So of course the Chiefs were eliminated from the playoffs last week for the first time since 2014 when they lost to the Chargers. Mahomes not only didn't play good, he got injured and he's out for the season. So Minshew magic time, as the Chiefs are trying to avoid their first losing season since 2012, the second longest streak in the league behind only the Steelers. So yeah, that's just pride at this point for the Chiefs. Meanwhile, the Titans, of course, they lost to the 49ers. No surprise there. Now, this actually is a tough one. Going into this week, I thought the Chiefs were going to easily win this one, but now with Mahomes out, I don't know. At least the Chiefs still have a good stats overall, and they have a really good defense, whereas the Titans really have nothing, even though Ward played okay last week. Oh boy, this is actually a tough one, but I'm going to still pick the Chiefs for this one. But if the Titans win, I won't be surprised, believe it or not. I will not be surprised if they get it. Alright, then we get to the 4 p.m. game, starting off with a huge one, as it's the Jaguars at the Broncos for the first time since 2019, I think. As the Broncos won the last two, the Jaguars haven't beaten them since 2019, and the Broncos haven't won home against the Jaguars since 2013. So, big game on the line. Jaguars, if they win and the Colts lose, they will be in the playoffs for the first time since 2022. So, a huge game on the line for them. The Broncos, meanwhile, if they win and the Chargers lose, they will clinch the AFC West for the first time since 2015. 2015. And not only that, if they win, the Chargers lose, and the Patriots lose, they will clinch home field advantage for the first time since 2015 with 2 weeks to go. So a huge game on the line for both teams, as the Jaguars are trying to play spoiler and be in a position that maybe they can get the number 1 seed. After they destroyed the Jets, they've won 5 in a row. Lawrence threw 6 touchdowns in total, as the Jaguars all of a sudden, lately, after the blowout games against the Colts and Jets, now they're starting to look like one of the best teams in the AFC. Broncos, meanwhile, hard-fought game against the Packers. They got the needed victory to keep like the longest win streak in the league going, as Bo Nix played very good. Oh boy, this is going to be a tough game to pick. Both teams look legit right now. Oh boy, this is going to be a tough one. But you know what? I'm going to take a bold pick, maybe. I'm going to actually pick the Jaguars for this one, to pull off an upset. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos get it. Alright, then it's the Falcons at the Cardinals for the first time since 2023. Cardinals won the last one. The Falcons haven't beaten them since 2022. And the Falcons haven't won in Glendale since 2001. So the Falcons, of course, they beat the Buccaneers. Gee, everything went right for the Falcons that week if only they weren't eliminated. As Kyle Pitts, Arm Pitts, finally had a great game, probably the best game of his career, after they beat the Bucs in a big comeback. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, they lost to the Texans. They just got ran over. Nothing stopped them there. And yeah, nothing's going right for them. But you know what? Maybe in a bold pick too. I'm actually going to pick the Cardinals for this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons get it. Then it's the Raiders at the Texans for the first time since 2019. As the Raiders won the last one. The Texans haven't beaten them since that 2019 game. And the Raiders haven't won in Houston since 2013. As no playoff situation this week. As the Raiders got shut out by the Eagles. No surprise, they continue one of the longest losing streaks in the league. They're just terrible all around. Meanwhile, the Texans, of course, destroyed the Cardinals. Now they've won 6 in a row. They have a win season. They have an elite defense. And finally, Stroud played good. 3 touchdowns on it. Looking very good. And yes, obviously, I'm going to pick the Texans for this one. Then a big outer conference matchup, as it's the Steelers at the Lions for the first time since 2018. Last time, remember, in 2021, they tied. And the Lions haven't beaten the Steelers since 1998. So a lot on the line for this one. Steelers try to get another win season after they beat the Dolphins on Monday night, as they played pretty good. The Lions, meanwhile, hard-fought game, but they couldn't beat the Rams in the end. That's how most of the season's gone if they start winning those 4 games. Lose a game, win a game, and so on. As they're getting close to being eliminated from the division. And if the Bears win... Oh, no, the Lions still have a chance even if the Bears win. But they need to win out here. Because if they lose, they're going to be really, really dire straits. The Lions need this win more than the Steelers. But nothing could change either way for both teams. But I'm going to pick the Lions for this one. And then we get to the game that was flexed in for Sunday night. The Patriots at the Ravens for the first time since 2019. And that game, remember, was also... the last time the Patriots and Ravens visit... Patriots visit the Ravens, they've all been Sunday night except 2013 when that was flexed out. Unbelievable. As the Ravens won the last one, the Patriots haven't beaten them since 2020, and they haven't won in Baltimore since 2013. The Patriots, if they win or the Colts lose, they will be in the playoffs for the first time since 2021. So they need this win right here, especially since they lost to the Bills last week after that choked lead. You had a 21-0 lead on it, and you still couldn't get the job done. Unbelievable. As they need this win now after their win streak's broken to stay alive in the playoffs. And they have the Bills in the AFC East. Meanwhile, the Ravens, of course, got a huge needed victory after they shut out the Bengals last week. Although they still didn't play offensively very good. But hey, still a win, trying to get back to 500 and stay alive with the Steelers. So they really need this win badly. but I'm going to pick the Patriots still for this one. And then we get to a huge Monday night game, a game I didn't think was going to have much implications, but apparently it's going to, as it's the 49ers at the Colts for the first time since 2017. The Colts won the last 5, the 49ers haven't beaten them since 2001. So, the Colts try to get their first win season since 2023. 49ers, if they win and the Lions lose, they will be in the playoffs for the first time since 2023. So, a lot on the line for this one. Colts, meanwhile, need this win to stay alive in the division race. And the playoffs, too. The 49ers, of course, just being spanked to the Titans, staying alive in the playoff race. 10-4 still not enough yet. The Colts, meanwhile, have lost 4 in a row in a defensive struggle against the Seahawks. And old man Phillip Rivers played okay until that interception at the end. But yeah, he needed to throw a lot more yards than that. But the fact that they almost pulled it off, too, was quite a miracle. But couldn't get the job done in the end. Oh boy, this is a tough one. If the Colts defense played like this, and Phillip Rivers don't have any turnovers, if he got more yards, they could pull off an upset. Oh boy, this actually is a tough one. But I'm going to stick with my gut and pick the 49ers for this one. But if the Colts win, I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, those are my picks for week 16. I cannot wait for the big Rams-Seahawks game tonight. So my picks, remember, are the Seahawks over the Rams, Eagles over the Commanders, the Bears over the Packers, Chargers over the Cowboys, Vikings over the Giants, Bengals over the Dolphins, Panthers over the Buccaneers, Saints over the Jets, Bills over the Browns, Chiefs over the Titans, Jaguars over the Broncos, Cardinals over the Falcons, Texans over the Raiders, Lions over the Steelers, Patriots over the Ravens, and 49ers over the Colts. Alright, so next week, of course, the Thursday games are going to be on Christmas, and there's going to be 3 of them. So because of that, my picks will be on Wednesday, Christmas Eve. So tune in Wednesday for my Week 17 picks.